Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Colleen. Welcome back to Books the House Down, and here I am again, late, with my September reads. First things first, I kind of want to apologize because I think I'm coming down with something, so I'm a little bit sniffly, and my throat is a little bit like croaky, so apologies on my part. And then secondly, the reason why it is taking me so long to put together these wrap-ups for the months of September and October is the state of the world. Honestly, take responsibility and ceasefire and stop funding a colonial state, pretty much. So yeah, I am fortunate enough to be friends with Danny, who works at Massy Books in Vancouver, where they are very open about talking about this genocide and this conflict that's going on. And they have curated a list of books that we should be reading right now. And so I'll leave that link below somewhere for y'all to check out. So yeah. It feels very strange to be recording this video and talking to y'all about the books that I read in September, given everything that's going on. But I do love doing this. I do love talking about books, and I do love sharing book content and like making book content. So I'm going to continue to do that. Yeah. I don't know what else I was trying to say, but so let's keep protesting in the streets. Let's keep educating ourselves. Let's keep listening to Palestinian voices and boosting their voices and contacting our governments in trying to stop this horrible genocide that it needs to end. But anyways, I'm going to continue on with the books that I read in September. I have 11 books here, 2 of which are graphic novels, 1 poetry book, and the rest are nonfiction. No, I lied, fiction. Yeah, so the first book I have here, this is Junior High by Tegan and Sarah Quinn. If you don't know already, Tegan and Sarah Quinn are a twin queer duo. Musical group, musicians. I grew up listening to them. They're also Canadian. They came out with a like memoir, I think, a couple years ago called High School, and I read that. Now they have this book, this graphic novel book called Junior High. And then I think there's also like a TV series. I haven't watched it yet, but I want to eventually. So basically this is kind of like a loose interpretation of their experiences in junior high, but it does take place in current day, so there is like use of like internet and cell phones. But I thought it was really sweet and cute. It does talk about them moving to a new school, trying to find new friends, them being sisters, twin sisters, and trying to find their own autonomy outside of being a twin. And their parents are divorced, and they've got a stepdad. And yeah, it's also illustrated by Tilly Walden, who's an amazing cartoonist, illustrator. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Thought it was really cute, nice and sweet. Yeah. There's that book. And then I read Roaming. I'm lucky enough to have my copy signed. This is by Jillian and Mariko Tamaki. This story is about a group of 3 girlfriends in New York. They're currently in university, and they go on a winter trip to get away in New York, and it's just all the shenanigans that unfold, and the relationships, and talking about family and exploring New York. I thought this was really cute, very cute. I love the colorway. I love the graphics. Yeah, I sat down at a cafe one day, started it and finished it. It was a really good time. The ending was a little bit abrupt, I think on purpose, but it did, I was like, I want more. So that's how I felt after finishing this book. So yeah, that's Roaming. Oh, did I mention that I read a nonfiction book? I don't know. I can't recall. But this is the one nonfiction book that I read not this month, in September. It's like 2 months ago now, basically. Is Quietly Hostile by Samantha Irby. I, in August, read one of Samantha Irby's other collection of essays called, I can't remember, but I'll insert it somewhere here. I have the worst memory. That's why it's really hard for me to do these wrap-ups with books that I read so long ago. I'm kind of just like, what even is this book about again? But yeah, this is a book of essays by Samantha Irby. Samantha Irby is so funny. I really enjoyed reading this book. I also suggest to listen to any of Samantha Irving's books because she's the one who narrates them, and it's just absolutely funny. She's just so relatable. Yeah, so that's Quietly Hostile. And then here are my stack of fiction books that I read this month. The first, this is in like no particular order, but the first one I'll tell you about is All the Lovers in the Night by Miyoko Kawakami. This is translated from Japanese. Miyoko Kawakami came out with the book Breast and Eggs. I feel like that's like one of their most popular books. I haven't read that yet, but after reading this, I kind of do want to get to it. I really enjoy this book. I really enjoyed the narrator. She is just one of the most non-problematic narrators. I mean, like, in a sense of like, she's very tied to her job. She doesn't have a lot of friends. She's not that close with her family. All she wants to do is like read and stay at home and be cozy. I totally understand. And unproblematic in a sense of like, that is her life, but she's not allowing herself to have new experiences and explore life and all its emotions and richness. And yeah, so this is kind of her kind of coming out of that. She takes a risk in getting this new job, becomes a freelance editor. She's also like in her 30s. Yeah, I just thought this was really heartfelt and insightful, and like a slow, quiet book. And I really enjoyed reading this as the weather was changing and it was getting crisper out and the leaves were changing. I mean, the colors in this book are also very autumnal. So yeah, I really enjoyed reading this. The next book is a book that I talked about, I think in my previous book haul. I think I talked about it a little bit too much. So if you wanted to watch that, I'll link that below. But yeah, this came to me recommended from my good friend Zoe, who I talk about in like every single video now. But this is The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. This book has come out a while ago. I mean, this book is the 25th anniversary edition, but I think it came out, like this edition came out in 2009. And I think the original came out in 1984. But yeah, this just follows this girl and her neighborhood and all the shenanigans that ensues and all the people and characters that she meets. The chapters are really short. It's really brilliant, really heartfelt. I think, I'm not entirely sure, but I think this book is like a required reading book in the States. I'm not quite sure, but I do think that everybody should read this book. I really enjoyed it. It's super short, super easy to get through, really heartfelt. If you have ever lived in an apartment building, if you ever lived on a street where a lot was happening, if you're in Scarborough, if you're in Toronto and you know Scarborough, this feels very much Scarborough to me. I enjoy this. I love this. I think everyone should read. The next book is Of Women and Salt by Gabriela Garcia. This takes place in present day Miami. Talks about immigration, talks about connection to culture and roots, talks about being detained by ICE in the States, talks about mother-daughter relationships, addiction, harmful relationships. This book was absolutely beautiful. It follows a bunch of different characters. I really admired it. Yeah, really enjoyed this book. Of Women of Salt by Gabriela Garcia. The next book I have here is Delicacy by Mina Kane. This book was really interesting. I saw this book going around on Bookstagram and BookTube, and obviously caught my eye because it's such a beautiful cover. It has the like, if it was up in a museum, this would, like, if there was an artwork that would be up in a museum, like this would be the thing that would be beside it. The description is what I'm trying to say. My brain is not braining right now. But it was a really beautiful book. Super slow. Talks about this woman. It talks about class and privilege and art. I did like this book, but I will say that it didn't make a big impression on me. As I'm looking at the stack of books that I have here, this one kind of fades into the background. So I would recommend, but I didn't entirely love it and I didn't entirely hate it, but I could appreciate it for what it is and how beautiful it is. So that's Delicacy. Another book that I kind of feel that way about is O William by Elizabeth Strout. Again, a really beautiful cover. I believe that this is part of like a series, but you could read the books having not read the other ones. They kind of like go together, but they don't necessarily follow a sequence or whatsoever from what I believe. I could be entirely wrong. So check that out. But yeah, this is about this mom, and she's a little bit older in life. And I kind of do like reading books about characters or narrators that are older in life, because I feel like those aren't really books that get pushed up to the forefront. I feel like a lot of the time Book Talk and BookTube, they're books about people like in their early 20s or early 30s, which I understand because like we're the ones that are on social media watching this anyways. But I did enjoy her perspective. She has an amazing relationship with her daughters. It's about her, her ex-husband, who she still is really close with, and has those 3 daughters with. And yeah, like kind of like just unraveling of this secret or this thing that her husband finds out, and how they all deal with that. And yeah, it was a really beautiful book, but again, it didn't really stick out to me in the sense of the stack of books that I got going on, but it was still really good. So this is a William. And I'm down to the last 3 books. This book is another book that I really didn't care for. It's called Solo Dance by Lee Kotomi, translated by the Japanese by Arthur Reggie Morris. I saw this book on Jack Edwards' channel. Yeah, he talked about it, it's about this queer person who ends up moving to Tokyo. Something horrible happens to them, and they kind of unravel that and talk about that in this book. She's also very obsessed with death, so let me check trigger warnings. Actually check trigger warnings on these books. Always try to, if you don't have the capacity to take on a certain subject, don't read it, don't traumatize yourself. So yeah, I don't know, it didn't really strike a chord with me. Not very memorable. Yeah, I don't know, that was Solo Dance for me. Who's to say that you're not gonna like it? But yeah, it just wasn't for me. And this book is Claudia Pinero's Elena Knows. This is translated from Spanish, I believe, because I think Claudia Pinheiro is Argentinian. So yeah, this is translated. I love translated fic. This book was really good. I had read, I think in August, another Claudia Pinheiro book called A Little Luck, and I really enjoyed that too. So reading that made me want to pick this book up, and I'm so glad I did. This is the book that gets talked about the most on online, I find, and for good reason. I really enjoyed it. This is about a woman. She is disabled in a certain sense. I think she has Parkinson's. What does she have? I can't remember. Ugh, I'm sorry. If I figure it out, I'll insert it here. But she has that. And one day her daughter dies. And it's kind of her denial about what happened and the death of her daughter, and her trying to figure out what happened. She doesn't necessarily believe in the police report that was given to her. So she strikes it upon herself to do her own little investigation. And here comes the unraveling, I love that word, unraveling, of the story. And I really enjoyed it. This book I actually really want to recommend to a friend. So as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm gonna run this over to them to read. Yeah, I really, really enjoy Claudia Pinheiro's writing style and the stories that she has written so far. So really interested to look into what else she has written and read those. So that is the last fiction book I have of the month. And then the very last book is a recommended book from my friend Danny. Barangay, an offshore poem by Adrian de Leon, or Leon. This is a book of poetry. Adrian is of Filipino descent, Filipino raised in Canada, Scarborough, I believe as well, which is where I'm from. I grew up in Scarborough too, and I'm also of Filipino descent. So these poems really struck a chord with me. Really beautiful. It talks about being part of the diaspora. Has really interesting type of poems throughout. I really enjoyed it, and I think people should give it a read. Also, look how beautiful that is. I'm pretty sure that's in the Philippines. I want to be there right now. It's getting cold in Toronto, and I'm just obviously getting sick and having to bundle up so much. But yeah, that's Barangay. And these are all the books that I read in the month of September. Yeah. So I will, as I just like hit myself on my chin, I will link everything that I said I would link down below. So yeah, talk to me in the comments below. What are you enjoying reading this month? What have you read lately? What are things that you want to read? What are you doing to help yourself in this crazy time that we live in? Are there any Palestinian books that you've been reading lately? Any good non-fic recommendations, or fictional, or poems? It's obviously October. Oh no, it is not October. It is November. Obviously, it's November now, and I read a couple of Palestinian books that I will share with you for my October wrap-up. But yeah, as for now, stay safe. Keep doing what you can. Keep reading, keep educating yourself. Take care of yourself. Thanks for watching this video. Yeah, bye y'all.